good. Not a word we usually think of when things go wrong. Many years ago, a friend of mine, a very gifted speaker and writer named Bill Cordes, was providing some training for us at Phillips Lighting, and he told us of his philosophy of good. Whenever things would go wrong, he would purposely tell himself good and then look for the opportunity that that problem provided. And he gave us several examples in his own life, and some somewhat comical. But I did see one instance where Bill was put to the test somewhat involving us. He had training that he was doing for us at Phillips, and he had put all his microphones and everything into his vehicle the night before. Well, the next day when he got up to get into his vehicle to come do the training, he noticed that his vehicle had been broken into and all his gear stolen. Well, Bill showed up to do the training a little bit late as he'd scavenged the stuff together, but I admit Bill's attitude was the same upbeat, typical Bill that we were used to. Again, he didn't seem daunted, he handled it, and again, I can't help but think that practice is always saying good kind of put him in that mindset to be able to deal with problems more constructively. Well, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to say good when you hear things like you have cancer, your spouse wants a divorce, or you just lost your job. Fortunately, most of the problems that hit us through the course of a day are not quite that dire. So for most of them, we can use the good philosophy. Now, Bill's not alone in this. A lot of philosophers and people throughout history have had and embraced that same concept of using good when faced with problems. The co-author of the book Extreme Ownership, retired Navy SEAL Commander Jocko Willink, also used it quite often. He tells a story of one of his subordinates, and I can't remember if this is in Iraq or where the incident took place, but the soldier came up to him and told him of a problem, and before the commander could say anything to him, the soldier goes, well, wait a minute, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say good. And the Navy SEAL commander laughed a little bit. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, that's all you ever say. Anytime I bring a problem to you through all the time that we've been together, the first thing out of your mouth is always good. And then Mr. Willink went on to explain about that. Yeah, if a mission's been moved up, good. It tests our resolve and our preparation. It's been pushed back, that's fine. That gives us more time for training. We didn't get supplies we needed, great. This gives us an opportunity to see how creative we can be and how resourceful. Again, there's always opportunity and challenge, and I've found this in my own life. The more that I embrace this concept, when a challenge hits me, a problem, then it kind of acts as a buffer. If the first thing I tell myself is good, then it gives me a chance to kind of disconnect from that panic of that problem and start looking at the resolution. And it kind of makes a game of it. Okay, so the next problem that hits you, think the word good. What opportunities are embedded in that problem? And again, we can't change the problems. They're going to hit us. We have control over how we address the problems. Again, like Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space, we get to choose our response, and a good starting point is good.